Okay, in this video, we want to calculate the derivative of e raised to x times sine x divided by parentheses 2x plus 1 close parentheses raised to 5. And so let's begin. So this is a great problem that involves the product rule. It also involves the chain rule, and it also involves the quotient rule. So it's everything. And so let's begin. So we're going to get low d high minus high d low divided by the square root of what's below. So our low is our denominator, so 2x plus 1 close parentheses raised to 5, d high, derivative of the numerator, parentheses, e raised to x times sine, parentheses, x close parentheses, minus high, the numerator, e raised to x sine, parentheses, x close parentheses, derivative of the denominator, parentheses, 2x plus 1 close parentheses raised to 5 divided by the square root of what's below. So we're going to square the denominator. So we have 2x plus 1 close parentheses raised to 5. Whole thing, we have to square it. So now we need to clean this up. So we're going to keep our 2x plus 1 raised to 5 and the derivative of this piece. This involves the product rule. So 1d2 plus 2d1. So 1 meaning the first term e raised to x. d2, the derivative of sine x would give us cosine x, plus 2, so sine x. And the derivative of the first term, e raised to x, the derivative of e raised to x is still e raised to x, close parentheses, minus, now we have to do this piece. So we have e raised to x sine x. And now we need to take the derivative of this piece. So times parentheses. So we need to bring down the 5. So we have a 5 parentheses. We keep the inside piece. So 2x plus 1 close parentheses raised to 4 times the derivative of the inside piece. So the derivative of 2x plus 1 is 2 close parentheses. And the whole thing will be divided by the denominator, which we have 2x plus 1 raised to 5. But we have to multiply this 2, so 5 times 2 is 10. So now we're just going to clean this up a little bit. So we're going to keep most of our stuff the same. So 2x plus 1 close parentheses raised to 5 parentheses. We're going to keep this. Later, we're going to try to factor out some terms that are the same for the numerator. But for now, we're just going to keep most of it the same. We might try to expand something, but we're mostly keeping everything the same. So this is the part where we're going to modify it. 5 times 2 gives us 10. We have a negative in the front. So we're going to say negative 10 e raised to x sine x. And we have this piece here. The 2 parentheses 2x plus 1 raised to 4. Again, the whole thing will be divided by this piece here. 2x plus 1 raised to 10. At this point, we can factor out terms that are common for the numerator. Like this piece is 2x plus 1 raised to 4, and this is 2x plus 1 raised to 5. So we could factor out a 2x plus 1 raised to 4 because that's common amongst both of these terms. So what we could say is parentheses 2x plus 1 raised to 4. Now, each of these pieces has an e raised to x. This has an e raised to x, this has an e raised to x, and this has an e raised to x. So that's also a common term, e raised to x. Then we'll do our parentheses. Now, this was a 2x plus 1 raised to 5. This was 2x plus 1 raised to 4. So we get to keep that term. So we'll keep 2x plus 1. And 2x plus 1 times 2x plus 1 raised to 4 is going to match. Now we have to do this piece, cosine x, sine x. So we have to put it here also. So cosine x plus sine x, close parentheses. And it's very important that this piece right here is a factor for this entire numerator. So I'm going to make a big parentheses because I need to do this term now. So this piece is also going to go through here. So we think to ourselves, we have 2x plus 1 raised to 4. It matched. E raised to x, it matched. But we don't have a negative 10 sine x. So we need to put that. So negative 10 sine x. And we're going to close parentheses. And the denominator stays the same. So whole divided by 2x plus 1 raised to 10. Next, what I'm going to do is expand this piece right here. And what I could also do is clean this up. This says 2x plus 1 raised to 4. The division is 2x plus 1 raised to 10. So we can actually get rid of this entire term and change the 10 into a 6 because 10 minus 4 is 6. And so what we're going to do is keep our e raised to x, and we're also going to try to expand this piece, parentheses, 2x times cosine x plus sine x. We got to do for each one. So we're going to get 2x cosine x plus 2x sine x. So 1 times cosine x gives us cosine x, and 1 times sine x gives us sine x. And we'll continue with this piece, negative 10 sine x. So negative 10 sine x. So all we did was expand, and now this is our numerator. And the division will be the same, 2x plus 1 raised to 6. And what I'm going to do next is kind of split it up where I have cosine x on one side and sine x on the other. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So we could say e raised to x, parentheses, we have 2x cosine x plus cosine x. So we're going to say 2x cosine x plus cosine x, close parentheses, divided by our denominator, parentheses, 2x plus 1, close parentheses, raised to 6. And now we're going to do the same thing for sine. Again, this e raised to x, you got to distribute it everywhere. So it's going to be the same thing. You'll have e raised to x, parentheses. Here we have 2x sine x. We also have sine x minus 10 sine x. So 1 sine x minus 10 sine x is negative 9 sine x, close parentheses, divided by the same thing, 2x plus 1 raised to 6. We're definitely closer. Now, for the first one, we have cosine x, cosine x. So you could factor out a cosine x, and you could say you have cosine parentheses x, e raised to x, parentheses, 2x, because 2x times cosine x is this term, plus 1, divided by parentheses, 2x plus 1, close parentheses, raised to 6. So you notice something, 2x plus 1, 2x plus 1. So next we'll have to clean this up again. Plus, we're going to do the exact same thing for this piece. So sine x, sine x. So we'll say we have sine, parentheses, x, e raised to x, parentheses. This is a sine x. You have a 2x here. So you'll say 2x. And sine x times what gives you negative 9 sine x. So negative 9 divided by parentheses 2x plus 1, close parentheses, raised to 6. So this piece, you can clean it up. So this would be gone. Change the 6 to a 5. Nothing you can change here. And so we can rewrite this now. So our final answer, e raised to x, you can put in the front, cosine x. But it didn't matter. Divided by, now we do our denominator, 2x plus 1, close parentheses, raised to 5. Plus, my calculator had 2x minus 9 go in the front. Same thing, it doesn't really matter, but I want this answer to match the calculator. And then we have e raised to x, and our last piece was sine x. Close parentheses, divided by parentheses 2x plus 1, close parentheses, raised to 6. Now this is the answer my calculator also came up with, and you notice it was a lot of work. Now it really depends, if your teacher is okay here, then you got to do a lot of work. But they very well may be okay with up to here, what we did in the very, very beginning. So it really depends. But I went ahead and I made the answer match what my calculator came up with. And this was the final answer. And that's all we need to do for this problem. And if you want more practice, check out the description box for more videos.